Hello everyone. Today we are going to cover Module 4 Clients and Their Rights. It's on your book on page 55. Okay, on your book there are some key terms that are very important. Please read them. Adult family home, what is it? What's an assessment? What's assisted living facility? What's a care setting? What's a care team? What's enhanced service facility? What's a functional disability mean? Self-determination, service plan, and care plan. They're very important words. I would advise you to study them. Okay, what's a client? A client or a resident. The Department of Social and Health Service frequently uses the term client for people who receive long-term care. In residential settings such as adult family homes, assisted living facility, or enhanced service facility, resident is often used. You may hear other terms such as care recipient, service participant, or consumer. These are some words that we need to know before we go through the studying. What's a care setting? A care setting is a type of type of setting that a client chooses depending on the services and support they need. Clients can receive assistance from home care aides in many different settings, including the individual house or apartment, or an adult family home, or an assisted living facility, or in enhanced service facility. So when we are working in this kind of setting as a home care aide, we are part of the team that supports the client's well-being. The group also includes the client themselves and anyone else the client chooses, such as the client relatives, their friends, doctors, nurses, former representatives, social workers, case managers, and more. So when we are working with clients in this care setting, we need a person-centered uh, care. The goal of a person-centered long-term care is to support the client independence and respect their preferences. So everyone in the care setting, they have a service plans. When a person begins to receive long-term care services, an assessment determines their needs and preferences. Usually the case manager or supervisor work with the client and the rest of the care team develop a service plan. It is also called a negotiated care plan. This service plan is a detailed explanation of the client needs and services they will receive. In general, a service plan identifies what tasks the client wants and needs support with, then who will support them with each task, and how and when the client wants the task to be done. A client needs can change over time, and they may want or need more support. So one of our responsibility as a home care aide is to report these changes to the rest of the care team. It seems like in this picture they are talking about the service plans. Maybe they're doing the assessment. In the care setting there are different kind of people. As you can see here, the young people, he's 33 and the next lady is 65. The next lady is 69 and he is 80. People with different ages. Okay, let's talk about aging and health. Everyone experiences change as they age. Some people experience these changes sooner than others. There are many common misunderstandings about the natural aging process. For example, some people may believe that all older people are sick, lonely, and sad, or cognitively declined, or totally dependent on others, and weak or frail. But that's not true. There are common physical changes that come or associated with aging with most people. Let's see, eyesight. Your eyes, your vision will decrease, your hearing will decrease, your smell and taste can decrease, your touch, decrease sensitivity to touch, pain, your kidney or bladder, you might need to go bathroom a lot as you age, your bones, they become brittle, and your height might be less, your heart doesn't beat as it's supposed to be, your lungs, they begin to lose elasticity, your muscles become weak because of lack of exercise, maybe your skin is very thin and dry, your nails they grow more slowly and may get thicker, your digestion are usually slow, and the nervous system reflexes get slower. These are like just common physical changes with most people at the age. The same thing with diseases to hypertension, that's because of your heart, stroke, high cholesterol, arthritis, heart disease, diabetic, depression, heart failure, and it's a lot of them. As we age, our memory changes too. Memory loss is different from forgetfulness. Don't confuse those two. For memory loss is different than forgetfulness. Or memory loss is not part of aging process. Memory loss can be you may not remember where you put your keys this morning, or you may forget how to do familiar tasks that you used to do before, or making difficult choices might be different. Thank you. We finished this section. Now let's go to to the next section. If you want to know more about dementia, you go to page 64 on your book. It shows you a nice summary about it. Okay, lesson 2. Resident and client right. A person's quality of life depends on the freedom to exercise their basic human rights. Part of your job as a home care aide is to protect the rights of the people you support. There are very important key terms in here. It's very important you need to know them. Abuse, advanced directive, CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, confidentiality, incapacitated, involuntary circulation, omsdom, restraint, vulnerable adult, grievance, guardian. These are very important words. If you learn them, it's good for you. Basic rights. All people have human, civil, and legal rights regardless of any disease, disability, or condition. All clients have the freedom from abuse and neglect. All clients have the right to have their self-determination, the right to control their life decision. All clients have the balance. So balancing a client right of choice and safety is our responsibility. Clients have the right to make their own choice, even if those choices are not healthier or safest. When a client person choice could be unhealthy or unsafe for themselves or others, we have to follow some steps to do. Like we explain to the client why you are concerned. And second, offer a safe alternative for this client. And still this person didn't like the safe alternative you got, you need to report concern to the appropriate person in your care. And then finally, all the time you have to document your concerns. All clients have the right to make healthier care decisions. In Washington state, all adults have the right to make their own decisions about medical care. Before receiving treatment, the client must understand the purpose, benefit, alternative, and potential risks. The client healthcare provider explains this. Then the client decides whether they want the treatment or not. This process is called informed consent. However, the client has the right to accept or choose not to receive any treatment, anytime. It's also true that clients have the right to refuse any treatment, medication, or services at any time. No one can force a client to do anything the client does not want to do. Okay, now let's talk about the restraint. All people have a human and legal right to live free from restraints and involuntary seclusion. Restraints can be physical, mechanical, chemical, or involuntary. In any way you put it, all restraints are dangerous and can cause serious harm. What's a physical restraint? Anything that prevents or limits a client's movement or access to their body is a physical restraint. Example, a tie, belt, or vest used to keep a client from getting out of bed or a chair. Clothing that a client cannot independently remove. Some examples. Chemical restraints are drugs that control mood, mental state, or behavior, but do not treat medical condition. So restraints. Involuntary seclusion. These are isolations when barriers confine a person to a specific space against their will. Example, locking a client in their room or forcing a client to stay in bed against their will. There are a lot of alternates that we can do other than restraints. Restraints are not the answer to difficult problems and behaviors. Instead, the care team should work to identify the underlying causes of the issue. Then, care strategies should address the individual needs of the client without the use of restraints. Yeah, read this book. It's very important. It explains everything in detail. Okay, now let's talk about confidentiality and privacy. We always have to protect client privacy or always have to keep information confidential. Example, knocking and waiting to be invited before entering a client room is an example of client privacy, protecting client privacy. So when we have to be confidential about client records, we're not supposed to gossip or discuss anything in public area where others may overhear. So there's a law about this. It's called Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. In short, it's called HIPAA. It is a federal law. HIPAA is a federal law that regulates the use and disclosure of health information. This law protects personal health information while making it accessible to their healthcare providers. All clients, they have a right to get interpreter or translator service at no cost without significant delay. Okay, now let's talk about the resident rights. Protecting basic rights. Basic rights are the right all clients have the right to freely exercise their rights without interference, force, discrimination, or punishment. All residents, they have the right to get their information. All residents, they have the right to get a comfort, security. They have a right to have a safe, clean, comfortable, and home-like environment. Yeah, and also have a right communication and visitation. The facility or must allow visitors that the resident wants to see when they want to see them. And they also have to keep their property and finances confidential. They have a right. Residents have the right to keep and use their personal possession in a safe and reasonable manner. And they also have a right to make official complaints about services and lack of services. Okay, now let's talk about legal protections. There are some words that we need to learn in this section. Advance directives. The advance directives are legal documents that protect the client's right to make their own decision. There are different kind of advance directive. One is the living will. A living will or health directive is advance directive. It outlines a client's desire to receive or withhold life-sustaining procedures. If a client becomes incapacitated, the living will tell healthcare providers which procedures they do and do not agree to. For example, a living will might tell a healthcare provider that the client refuses life support or artificial ventilation. Living will are sometimes called healthcare directive. Okay, another one is the power of attorney. Power of attorney is advance directive. It authorizes another person to make decision or act on behalf of the client. There's two kinds. A simple POA, just power of attorney, that only active while the client is able to make their own decision, and it ends when the client becomes incapacitated. In the other one, a durable power of attorney that becomes or remains active when the client becomes unable to make decisions. This POA can be healthcare POA or financial POAs. They're separate. Okay, guardian is another legal protection for the client. If another client is incapacitated, a legal guardian can take responsibility for their interest. A relative, friend, care facility, or case manager may ask the court to appoint a legal guardian. After a detailed process and a review, the judge signs paper appointing a guardian. Okay, this green paper is called POLS form. Portable order for life-sustaining treatment. It's a summary of the client's wishes regarding life-sustaining treatment identified in this advance directive. Clients who have one or more illness prepare POLS form usually. POLS form tell us if a person is a CPR or a DNR. It gives instruction to doctors or emergencies or medical staff in the event of medical emergency. It explains what treatment the client wants or whether or not to start CPR or not. If this paper says DNR, that means a client requests to refuse CPR if the heart or breathing stops. In Washington State, we have ombuds. These are people or organizations, group of people. They protect the rights, dignity, and well-being of individuals in long-term care facilities. Their main duties are working to resolve resident complaints, monitor state oversight agencies, and commenting on proposed state laws and regulations. Any group of individuals concerned about the welfare of residents of a long-term care facility in the community at large can access them. They have a phone number and a website. Their phone number is on your book. Over here. Here, 1-800-562-6028. They also have a website. Thank you very much for listening to me.